Hey everybody, Kevin here from the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 Today YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 9th studio album from a band with this album being highly anticipated. This band is a metalcore band that has some Christian roots to promote positivity out of Pennsylvania. This is our review of Guardians by August Burns Red. So before we jump into it, let's take a look at a little bit of the background. So Phantom Anthem, their previous release, came out on October 6, 2017, and the reception of this album was rather positive, where it peaked at number 19 on the Billboard Top 200. Metacritic rated it an 82 out of 100 for universal acclaim, averaging a lot of different reviews. The album was applauded for its brutal and relentless efficiency, but also that it was well balanced as well, which is rather interesting. New Noise magazine applauded the album for the use of consistently unclean vocals throughout the whole entire thing and saw that as a strength. They were Grammy nominated on this album for their song Invisible Enemy for Best Metal Performance. Now, in 2019, I did have a chance to see August Burns Red play live at Summerfest here in Milwaukee, and you guys heard me tell the story before. That was my famous, we couldn't really mosh because there were a bunch of benches on the ground, and we tipped the benches up so that we could mosh, and security came and tried to shut that down real quick. We wouldn't let them, but it ended up happening anyway. The guys from August Burns Red absolutely loved it, though, because of the sheer energy that we brought, so woo! So now we move on to Guardians, and this album was announced on February 6, 2020 for an April 3rd release date. The band was slated to be on tour with Killswitch Engage and Light the Torch, with that tour being huge because you had Killswitch Engage and Howard Jones with Light the Torch, so you had that lot of cross. Howard Jones coming to play with Killswitch Engage a little bit, one song, and then playing the Signal Fire as well with Jesse Leach. It was awesome, and then you have August Burns Red in there as well. Just a great lineup. However, due to the coronavirus pandemic, along with almost every single other artist on tour, well, basically every single artist on tour, those tours got postponed or canceled, so it is a shame, but we did get new August Burns Red music, so let's just get on into it. You know. So going into the composition, construction, and instrumentation on this album of Guardians from August Burns Red, the one thing I say is it's consistently hard and relentless hardcore metalcore. So what I'm saying by that is they're consistently driving hard with the same sound that's just going to be brutal and in your face the whole entire time. And as this move, I really do like it due to the fact that with a lot of bands that are currently in the metalcore scene that have been around for a while are really going towards either a softer sound or more electronic sound. And there are some offenders of this. We saw it this year already with Amity Affliction and The Word Alive. We saw it last year with Bring Me the Horizon, and upcoming this year, we're seeing if Asking Alexandria is going to do the same thing, which it looks like they are. But I love the fact that it's rapid, it's hard, it's not going to relent. I like the fact that they're sticking with that like they did on Phantom Anthem as well. I like the fact they're continuing to stay hard, but if you're going to stay that hard throughout the whole entire album, is there really any differentiation in there? Let's find out. So with that brutal hardcore metalcore sound, what August Burns Red is able to do on this album is use the guitar to really show a lot of differentiation in their song. And I'm not talking about using the guitar on like the intro or relegated to a certain part of each song. No, on a good number of the songs, they make the guitar change and sound a little bit differently with the tune. And oh man, does it just stick throughout the whole entire song? But it really creates a differentiation in these songs so you can pick them apart one by one and really enjoy them. Take a look at a song like Lighthouse, where the overall instrumentation is incredibly hard, but the guitar is tuned very similar like how Motionless in White tuned their song Another Life. And what I like about it is you get the brutalness of it, but you also get a feeling of reminiscing and depression at the same time as well, so you really get a whole different feel within the song based off the guitar. You take a look at Dismembered Memory, you get the exact same thing, but the guitar is higher tuned and really gets more of like this nostalgic feel to it, so you're looking back at what you have done in the past. Then take a look at Ties That Bind, and you're getting more of like this upbeat kind of like X's and O's from a Atreyu style guitar on the brutal and tough metalcore that the rest of the instrumentation goes for, and it really gives us more of a motivating, driving sound to it. And the best part about this is all this is done without any help from the vocals at all. They're really changing up the sound and the styles of a lot of these songs that are just brutal, heavy, hard metalcore songs, all based off of the guitar's tune. And I gotta say, fantastic. So let's take a look at the vocal performance on Guardians, and very similar to Phantom Anthem, August Burns Red sticks with this heavy, unclean vocal style as the primary and almost 100% of the way through the whole entire album. And I have a feeling that a lot of fans are going to really like this and applaud this, and the reason for that is because it sticks very well with that hard, brutal metalcore sound. But take a look at some of the bands we mentioned in the instrumentation section that have gone soft. They've done the same thing with the vocals as well. Think The Word Alive, Amity Affliction, Bring Me the Horizon, Asking Alexandria, especially on their newer releases. It seems like August Burns Red is going in the opposite direction, going pedal to the metal with the unclean vocals, and I do applaud them for that. However, is there really any differentiation and deviation from the unclean vocals in any of these songs? When going through the whole entire album, I was hoping to get maybe a glimpse of like maybe some clean vocals here and there. Not a lot, just some, but we really didn't get that at all throughout the whole entire album. Like I said earlier, they just really stuck with that unclean style just to really match the brutal metalcore sound and just ran it right through. Now, I wish they would have gone and explored a little bit more with a potential for unclean vocals. Take a look at a song like Bones, where when you get the chorus, they yell, "It's in our bones," and it's a little bit cleaner than the unclean vocals throughout the whole entire song and the whole entire album. And it really does stick out in my mind just because it's a little bit different. It's still hard as all hell, but it just bombasts you with it right then and there. So overall, let me say this. When it comes to the vocals with August Burns Red going like 99.5% unclean, it makes total sense and I am totally here for it. However, I think they left a little bit on the table overall, because if you brought in a little bit more of those cleaner vocals at bits and pieces, not for long sections, just bits and pieces like they did on Bones, I think these songs could have had a little bit more diversity in sound and a little bit more depth to them that we could really dive into. So now let's take a look at the overall themes and meanings on this album. And with Guardians, it is the perfect album title for it, because they're talking about how these people and things are guardians in your life, where either they're going to help you or hurt you, and how you can work with them or get past them. So taking a look at the positives, where they're going to be people that are helping you through those situations. Other people on songs like Paramount and Defender, they really show how other people can be the guardians and help you achieve your happiness. God and Jesus is another one as well, with Lighthouse and Empty Heaven being the perfect one. They also flip the coin on that as well when they're talking about guardians being the people defending against your happiness and want to stop you, but you're going to have to push forward on that. You know, taking a look at what you're dealing with internally with stuff like Three Fountains and Extinct by Instinct, but then outside factors such as the media, which I talk about in the narrative, politicians, which they talk about in Bones, and other people, which I talk about in Bloodletter. But how do all those themes play in with the stylings of the songs? Well, so how the stylings of the songs play up with the themes is incredibly well, especially with that brutal hard metalcore style. And the reason it's all done well is because of the tune of the guitar going into these songs. So when the guitar has that tuned down feel, where it's just going to be straight, brutal, hard metalcore, they're really focusing on the things that are defending against you and that you have to beat. Take a look at songs like The Narrative and Bones. These are the perfect ones for that, to really break through the mold, whether it's external or internal. Now, when they go with a little bit of a higher tune guitar, not down tune, like more middle tune, higher tune, whatever you want to call it, they really are able to evoke a lot more emotion, a little bit more positive, that people are going to help you, that you're going to help yourself, and that you're really going to end up feeling that, and it works out incredibly well in songs like Lighthouse and Empty Heaven. So overall, I think they did a really good job on that front. All right, now time to give my overall rating on Guardians by August Burns Red, and that is... I'm going to give Guardians an 8 out of 10. So an 8 out of 10 for Guardians by August Burns Red. So what I like about this, number one thing is the guitar work and how it executes so very well in differentiating a lot of these songs. So throughout most of the songs, like I said earlier, the metalcore, hard, brutal stylings are very consistent with the instrumentation. But when the songs are trying to differentiate themselves from another, they really let the guitar do the work for it by changing its tune, changing its distortion, and it works out to perfection on this album. And it is really when they're at their best because they're really showing a lot of different things. Take a look at a song like Lighthouse, where they have that heavy instrumentation, but they tune the guitar similar to Motionless in White's Another Life to really get that feeling of depression and also reminiscing on where you went wrong in life. Dismembered Memory, they went with the heavy instrumentation, but they also high-tuned the guitar a little bit more, so it gave this reminiscent and nostalgic feel to it. Take a look at Ties That Bind. They did the same thing, but they made it a little bit more upbeat, you know, like X's and O's by a Trigger to really get more of a motivational thing in there. So when they really turned that around, I really did like it. One other thing I really liked about this album was that the songs had a varying pace to them, even with that hard, brutal, fast-paced metalcore style. So when they were able to do that, they really, again, gave the songs a little bit more of a differentiation in sound. Take a look at a song like Bones, where it is incredibly fast, brutal, in-your-face metalcore, and I absolutely love it because it hits you with the gut punch that you really want. And even with the chorus, when it hits the, "It's in our bones," like, just bombasts you and is a great hook right then and there. Then take a look at a song like Empty Heaven, where it starts with more of like that extreme hard rock style. Not really metalcore, but really hard rock style. Kind of really gets you into it, but then it also kind of has this more consistent, you know, hard rock, slower sound compared to the rest of it. And it really does work out well because it gives the song a bit of a varying pace, especially as Empty Heaven is closer to the end of the set list on the album. So it really works out well on that. And I really did like when they were able to pull something off like that. One thing I like about Guardians was how August Burns Red took their themes and really mixed them in with the styles of their songs to absolute perfection, because the band really was able to capture the emotion that you're trying to go through. Take a look at Lighthouse, where those depressed and, you know, reflecting emotions, I said reflect emotions. It comes to looking back, you know, like where you went wrong and how you can better yourself and maybe turn to another person like God or Jesus for salvation so that you can become the person you want to be. Take a song like Ties That Bind with that heavy pop punk sound when you're trying to get past that, you know, motivation to get through the people that are holding you back to kind of break those ties. Then take a look at a song like Empty Heaven, where it's a little bit slower, a little bit, you know, more methodical against everything else. So it's not really that methodical, but it's more methodical than everything else. But it really has that feeling that, you know, God is always there if you need him. So that really plays well on a song like that. Now, the only thing I really dislike about this album is how there's very little variation outside that unclean vocal style. And the reason why I say that is because I have no problem with the fact that they went with that full unclean vocal style like they did. I think it was a good move to have that be the primary and almost exclusive vocals pattern for the whole entire album. But where I kind of get a little lost in it and really don't, you know, have a little bit of a beef with it, I would say, is because when I heard him do something like Bones, when they had the "It's in Our Bones" and it's a little bit cleaner, it's still rough, but it's cleaner. It gives the song so much more dimension. And I think if they went with a little bit of a bits and pieces clean vocal in there, I'm not talking very big, I'm talking very small, it would give the song the dimensions that these guitar parts are really giving these songs, so we could have a whole flushed out album overall. But I think that's just the one part, the one nitpicky part I have on Guardians that I really didn't care for all too much. So now it's time for my final thought. When Guardians was announced for the release in 2020, this was a very highly anticipated album from August Burns Red within the metalcore community. And let me tell you, they did not disappoint in the slightest on this album. When you're looking at this album, the guitar work is utterly fantastic with how just the changes in tune are really able to drive the whole entire emotion in the song. And this is if you take out the vocals entirely. The band also took the themes of this album and really tied them in so well to the stylings of the songs that it just gave this incredible experience listening to it. My little bone to pick with it was the fact that I thought they could use a little spots of clean vocals here and there. Very minimal though, just to add to the whole entire dimension of the album and each song. But overall, when I take a look at this album, I think an 8 out of 10 is a very good rating. And when it comes to the end of the year, this could be a player in the Album of the Year awards for the positive. Alright, that's it for me. Thank you for watching the review of Guardians by August Burns Red. If you liked our video, give me the like. If you dislike it, give me the dislike, but put in the comments why you like or dislike it and your review as well. If you're not subscribed to this channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when we release videos every single Wednesday. The podcast episodes on Tuesday, we'll get more of that later, and any other time we release videos, because we got a lot of them coming up, especially during this, you know, whole entire stay-at-home pandemic thing. So, be up to date with that. Let's get those out of here. And please follow us on our social media platforms like Facebook. Anytime anything gets released, a song of the day, the podcast, the YouTube videos, Facebook's where you're going to find all the releases for that stuff when they're announced. Twitter, same exact thing, but it's really easy to talk to us on Twitter, so tweet at us. Instagram is our biggest platform. We do all that stuff, and we do even more on Instagram because we'll ask you a lot more questions. We'll take a lot more answers. You can join our IGTV live streams every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central. Talk to us for an hour and have just a great time just talking music or whatever. And our Instagram TV, IGTV series where we do a behind the scenes look at what's going on here. I just kind of riff-raff about, you know, like a vlog style, like, hey, what's going on here? You can find all that on our Instagram page. Link in the description below to follow all those. Let's get those on here. Talk about the Chord Progression Podcast. It is our very own podcast where we have changed it up to interview a lot more people and bands that are emerging right now. So we've had interviews recently with Eline and Same the Canvas, both bands out of Italy. Waves in Autumn is coming up as well. They're a band out of Italy. Hellgarden. They're coming up as well. They're a groove metal band out of Brazil. We've had other bands here like Bone Steel, Zume, Amongst the Giants, I mean, it's just gonna keep coming. So be sure to listen to those podcasts to get in on all these bands. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and you can watch the episodes right here on YouTube as well. Link description below. Let's get that out of here. And if you're not subscribed or enabled to our Amazon Alexa skill, please go and do that right now, because when it comes to the Song of the Day feature, that is our most important feature, and that's where you can hear all the songs of the day, because only on social media you can hear the 30-second previews. Now, this is a great way to expand your music horizons, whether it's falling in love with a band you used to love or falling in love with a new band. Find a song that you absolutely love and just expand your musical horizons with what's old, what's new, and what's coming out. And our Small Band Saturday feature features a band that is emerging, that is going to be one of the most popular bands of the 2020s, we hope. So you can get in early on them as well. So please enable that. And I want to thank you guys for watching this video. We got a lot more coming up this week. And that's it for me. This is Kevin from the My Song Day Rock 2000 Day YouTube channel. Let me get the hat flip with the old Marlins hat. Oh, it hit me in the head. See ya!